best in New York Giants sports talk and entertainment. Oh, we're going to do a second show today. Why? Because the audio on the first one I did got all crapped up, and I don't know why and I don't know how. But I don't really care. We're going to talk about the New York Giants and the Chicago Bears. Oh, let's see here. You know what? There are certain keys to victory here that we're going to need to follow if we want to defeat the Bears in Chicago. And then there are going to be 3 keys to victory. And then I'm going to give you my final Sunday prediction. So, key number 1 to victory. Plain and simple, Daniel Jones, avoid the costly mistakes. You know what? You didn't fumble. I love the fact that you held on to the ball with 2 hands before you were going to, when you went down, so that you didn't fumble. But you did spoil a 19-play, 8-minute and 50-second drive by throwing a bad pass in the end zone. You were trying to throw the ball away, but you waited too long, Daniel, and you threw an interception, which is fine. First red zone interception. That's the big thing. I was like, well, Daniel Jones has never thrown a red zone interception. Did you really think he was going to go through his entire career without doing that? It was going to happen. It's going to happen a lot more, too. But you need to avoid that. You need to just take it and just, like I said, either take the sack or chuck it out of the end zone. I know you really couldn't because of the fact that, the pressure was on you. But you know what, Jones? You need to just focus on protecting the ball. Now, part 1B of the avoid the mistakes for Daniel Jones is going to be, Daniel, you need to work on your pre-snap reads. I had people write to me and say, oh, the pre-snap reads aren't that important. Yeah, they're monumentally important. The pre-snap read is going to point out which guy's the mic. It's going to help you make your line adjustments. It's going to help you call your audibles. It's going to get you into certain positions and plays that is going to give Saquon Barkley the opportunity to make yards. Was that going to be a huge factor against Pittsburgh? No, because the fact that Pittsburgh was in the backfield so many times, it didn't really even matter at that point in time. But you know what? If he would have called out of some of those plays and went to like a draw, yeah, we maybe could have popped something. We don't know. Can't say he would, can't say he wouldn't. You don't know. But that's the other thing. You need to work on your pre-snap reads. You need to get better at that, because I find it interesting that all, except for one game, Saquon Barkley's best games have come with Eli Manning at quarterback. And that's not a knock against Jones. He's a second-year quarterback. He'll get better at it. But that's what he needs to focus on. Key number 2 is you're going to have to be able to run the damn ball. I have never seen a team not be able to push a defensive lineman even a quarter a yard off the line of scrimmage. I have never seen that. You gotta find a way to move the pile back. And that is a key component, because if you cannot move the pile, you cannot move Pittsburgh. I know you couldn't move Pittsburgh, but if you can't move the Bears are not much different on defense than Pittsburgh. And we're going to get into that in a minute. But you need to try to focus on, you need power eye, line it up, 2 tight ends, put the fullback, put Penny in the backfield, 7 yards deep with Barkley, and try to find a spot. That's what we need to do. Plain and simple. And I've said it before, none of this hairy high school shit, oh, we're going to move this, emotion, and move this, we're going to try to pull them off sides, we're going to do that. No, that doesn't fucking work against teams that have well-taught defenses. And the Bears have defensive talent. And we need to also worry about the speed of the Bears. The Bears have a lot of skill guys who have a lot of speed. Anthony Miller, Allen Robinson. Hell, even Jimmy Graham still got some wheels. You got Patterson, Montgomery, Cohen. You got some guys on that offense that can move. So we better be up to the task to motor with these guys. Key component number 3 that we are going to need. We are just going to need to play some better defense. everyone's like, oh, the defense was great. Lorenzo Carter was ranked 81.5 by Pro Football Focus with the highest rate. You know what? Lorenzo Carter was pretty much, except for a couple of plays, absent. I don't want to hear that he had an 81.5 Pro Football Focus thing, which was the 10th highest in the linebacker. He was pretty much absent. Which play stood out as a game changer for Lorenzo Carter? Let's be honest. Let's just be honest. None. Maybe one. The defense cannot allow Montgomery and Cone to do what Benny Snell Jr. did. Rush for 115 yards, almost 5 yards a carry. The defense was supposed to be our stalwart against the run. Didn't see it against Pittsburgh. We did not see it. We need to make sure our guys up front, Dexter Lawrence, Dalvin Tomlinson, Leonard Williams, are controlling the line of scrimmage. Thank God for Blake Martinez. Blake Martinez is now becoming one of my new favorite players. Sideline to sideline speed, has the ability to track down the ball carrier, go after him, and make the play. If he wasn't there, we would have been in so much trouble when those running backs got to the second level. So that is another one of our key focuses. Those three things we need to basically do if we think we are going to have an opportunity to beat the Chicago Bears. Now let's get into the game itself and the Chicago Bears. Chicago Bears, if we take a look at the injury report right now, let's see. You still have Ted Ginn Jr. He didn't practice on Wednesday. He's resting. He was resting. Same with Jimmy Graham. He didn't practice. He's resting. Robert Quinn looks like he's going to be a go for the game on Sunday. So is Khalil Mack, and looks like so is Hicks, the defensive tackle. So they're going to have their full complement of pass rushers available to them on Sunday. Right now, the Giants' Carter Coughlin still nursing a hamstring. Same with Golden Tate. We don't know what his status is, and so is Tay Crowder. Those are our big things. Adrian Colbert, the defensive back, has a quad. You know, we'll have to see. It's going to be a game. They all look like they're probably going to be game time statuses, except for Golden Tate. I think he'll probably be called out sooner or later within the next couple days. The Bears. Here's the problem with the Bears, and I've said this before. Mitchell Trubisky is not a good quarterback. He, to me, is an NFL quarterback, but is he a good NFL quarterback? He is an average to below average NFL quarterback who has his moments. And I've said it before. I don't know what the hell that was. I've said it before. Mitchell Trubisky, I don't know what's going on there. Mitchell Trubisky is a quarterback of opportunity. You give Mitchell Trubisky the opportunity to beat you, he can and does have the ability to beat you. I mean, he has thrown 51 touchdowns and only 29 interceptions. People seem to forget that. And that's in 4 seasons. That's in 42 starts. So he doesn't cough the ball up as much as people think. And his completion percentage is still 63%, which is respectable. His career is 59, 66, 63. So he can complete passes in bunches. And my problem is with Mitchell Trubisky is you give him the opportunity to beat you, and you give him that chance, he may take him some time, but he usually finds that ability and finds that chance. And of course, you always have Nick Foles sitting in the wings, and Nick Foles, as we know, is a giant killer. Now, what we also need to look at is the fact that the Giants fell victim multiple times to the rub route. And the Bears, like the Steelers, like to use contact on defenders to free up their playmakers. And that's what the rub route does. And they do that a lot. And it's a lot of misdirection trying to get crossed over between the linebackers, the corners, and the safety. So who's covering them? So you know what? They do that a lot. They are very similar that way to the Steelers. So we need to make sure that we have the ability to defend that because, like I said, the playmakers they have in Chicago are not bad. I mean, Allen Robinson is a good receiver. I mean, you take a look at Anthony Miller. You got Mooney. Jimmy Graham is not the Jimmy Graham he was 6 years ago, 5 years ago, but he's still a quality tight end, receiving tight end. You got Cordray Patterson, who we always worry about. We worried about him last year and he was nothing, but he is a great punt returner and kick returner. Same with David Montgomery, Tariq Cohen. They have the wheels on the offense. Again, it's the line that's kind of a question mark. And then we take a look at the defense. The defense is still stout. To me, the Bears defense is still a top 10 defense. People forget about Josh Gibson. Eddie Jackson's starting to play well. Like I said, he's coming over. You got Johnson over at the other corner. You got Danny Trevis or whatever his name is. I can't pronounce his name. You got Smith on the other side, the linebacker. You still have Khalil Mack. You have Nix. You got Kyle Fuller over at the corner. You got Mingo, who's actually a pretty good linebacker. A lot of people do not give him credit. You got John Jenkins. I know he's like 107 years old, but he still plays well. And then, like I said, you're going to get back Harris. Not Harris. You're going to get back Robert Quinn. So they have the potential to create a pass rush similar to that of the Pittsburgh Steelers. And like I said before, Khalil Mack has the ability to get at the quarterback and get sacked. I always said he gets sacks in bunches. He can get 3-4 sacks in a row. So, and with Robert Quinn now having the ability to play, that makes Khalil Mack even more dangerous. And the way our line plays, I am not saying our line is that bad. I'm not saying it's going to be great. But they got to play a hell of a lot better than they did against Pittsburgh. All that being said, what do I think the final score is going to be? Well, Giant fans, I hate to say this, but I am predicting another Giant loss. I think this loss is going to be a close one. I think it's going to be 21-17. I have a feeling the special teams are going to let us down on one big play. And I have a feeling that we are going to have a defensive collapse. Right, I think we're going to basically also have a defensive collapse. I think that Daniel Jones is going to pick up his game a little bit. I think Saquon Barkley is still going to have some issues, but he's going to have a much better game than he did against Pittsburgh. But like I said, this does not feel like a good game to me after coming off a short week. And like I said, I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I think it's going to be a tight game, but I think it's going to be 21-17 Chicago. Now, my predictions can change once the full injury reports come out and we see who's playing, who's not playing. But like I said, this to me, and I know it's way too early, but this to me feels like a typical Giant trap game. And I know it's difficult to say a trap game, the second game of the season, but that's kind of what I'm thinking right now. But like I said, we'll do another show coming up probably on Saturday with another prediction if we need to. But again, this is Tim with Online Big Blue, bringing you the best in New York Giants sports talk and entertainment. And as always, if you could like, if you subscribe, if you ring that bell, I think you know what that means. That'd be awesome.